Hi, my name is Robert. This video is designed to give you step-by-step detailed instructions on completing the task at hand. Please read the comments in the About section of this video. It has valuable information and updates. My YouTube channel has a disclaimer video that I encourage you to watch. And please like, share, and subscribe. I hope you found what you're looking for. Thank you very much for watching. In this video, we're going to be replacing the rear hub on this P80. It's an all-wheel drive V70. This one is a V70R. This should apply to all of the all-wheel drive Volvos built from 94 to 2000. If it's this platform, this P80 platform, S and V70s, 850s. Now, these hubs are pressed in to the knuckle. This car has a rear knuckle because of the all-wheel drive setup. And unless you have a press, probably not going to get that out. So if you want to replace the hub only, you'll probably need to remove it, take it to a shop, have the bearing pressed in and out of the knuckle, out then in. If you don't have that and you're scavenging parts like I am, I went and got parts from the salvage yard, you probably will be better off replacing the knuckle hub assembly versus trying to get that bearing out of the knuckle. I tried to get the bearing out of the knuckle, beat on it for 10-15 minutes, didn't come out, ended up taking the whole knuckle with me. So hopefully I didn't damage that knuckle when I banged on it. At any rate, you know that you got a bad hub when you hear that rhythmatic bumping, grinding sound, and you can try to isolate if it's front or rear, right or left, by making turns. If you turn left and the sound gets worse, you're loading the right side, so it's probably on the right side. If you turn right, the weight shifts to the left. If the noise gets worse, it's probably on the left side. And then you could try to determine if it's front or rear. I've experienced a lot of these. I think this is my culprit, so I'm going to tear this one apart and replace it. There may be a video linked to the sound that you'll hear in the description area, but I'm gonna go ahead and do this one. First thing you want to do is break the lug nuts loose, remove the center cap from the wheel, and if you do not have an impact gun, you want to go ahead and break this rear CV axle loose. Now, I don't know if it's really called a CV axle. I guess it is. These all-wheel drive cars have axles in the rear as well as the front. So you want to break that loose before you jack the car up. Then you want to jack the car up, put a jack stand under it. That's where I have that one. I have the wheel stops on the other side, on the back over here, front and back up there. And then I have the car on jack stands. I took the wheel off. Next thing I'm gonna do is put penetrant oil on everything, which I did. I like PB Blaster, then Liquid Wrench, then WD-40. And then you might want to let this stuff sit an hour or two. That's up to you. Next thing I'm gonna do is remove this caliper. It has 2 bolts down there. I think they're 13s. Let me check and see, and I'll tell you. And then I'm gonna break this loose here. I think that's a 36 millimeter, pretty sure. Remove the 2 bolts out of the brake caliper, and it has some kind of metal bracket there. The curvature is placed forward. It came right off the brake caliper like this. Set that there, and the brake caliper should come away from the vehicle. Let me pry that out with a little pry bar or screwdriver. Got the brake caliper pried away from the rotor. Next, you want to tap this rotor with a sledgehammer, get it off. If you have parking brakes set, you want to release the parking brake. This car doesn't have any working parking brakes. So you want to set this on something or let it hang. Looks like it's fine on the ground. My next step is to try to get this rotor loose from the hub. It's probably rusted on there. If you got a set pin in there, you want to remove that pin. A lot of those have been broken off or removed by now. Since the hub is already damaged, I pounded around this rotor till it broke loose. And we have brake parts. This shoe here lost all of its brake pad material, and that's there. If you got somebody here to help you, or you could put a camera on it, you want to go ahead and work the emergency brake handle inside to see if that in fact works and moves, so you'll know if you need to replace the cable or not. But you can see that cable rusted there. It's probably rusted through here. At any rate, I'm gonna go ahead and knock this off of here, and since I'm replacing this knuckle, I'm probably going to have to take that parking brake stuff loose. The vehicle I got this off of, that stuff was all missing. So let me go ahead and release this parking brake, get a spring release on there with a screwdriver or something, take these pads off and try to take that cable loose and pull it out of that knuckle. There may be a clip on it back there. It looks like the clip's missing, but I gotta get that off of there. Well, this thing sounds pretty smooth. Feels pretty smooth too. But I'm gonna go ahead and press forward to replace it. I had to figure out how to get this out of here, because it looks like the clip maybe on the back's busted off of it, rusted off. Then I got to get this ABS sensor out of here. Hopefully that bolt won't break in. Break this bolt loose with the car on the ground. I got the car up off the ground, and this thing was spinning when I was trying to break the bolt loose. So I put a metal rod in there to stop this from spinning against one of these bolts, and it was kind of a mess even with the impact gun. So you may want to break that loose or take it off with the car on the ground. Now, as you can see, the CV axle on this one has been dismantled. So here's part of the CV axle, and you need that in there to hold the bearing. So you can't run the car without that coming through there, because that's what holds the bearing intact, stops the bearing from going bad, coming apart. Pulled the little bolt out for the ABS sensor. Now I'm going to wiggle this out with a pair of pliers or screwdriver. Try not to damage the wires or the sensor on that. I put a T40 in the hole of that sensor, started wiggling it, and it slipped, broke off the mounting. So I don't know if that sensor is going to be any good or not. Not sure where the other end of it plugs up. And that kind of sucks. So I'm trying to get this sensor out. Let me keep working on it. After spraying some penetrant on this brake cable, I tapped on this ring here, and it started coming out of this tip here. So now I'm coming in here and I'm prying that in so I can get this unlatched from it. Let me show you how I'm prying that in here. Pushing this in like that. Get it in so far. Now the pin should come out of there. You see it's coming out that way a little bit. But I need to get this cable off of this joint so I can get this to slide over that. And that cable's got to stay with the car. I'm going to see if I could knock that pin out of there now with something. I got these pieces out. Had to pry that cable end open to get the elbow out of there for the parking brake. Now I need to squeeze that closed so I can pull that cable out. I still need to get this ABS sensor out of here as well. Forgot that's rusted in there that quick. Unfortunately, this ABS sensor is rusted in the hub. So that ain't coming out. I need to find the end of that and replace that wiring harness and sensor with it. I had that tap that through the hub. Didn't want to go through. But you can see how the cable is rusted up. So I'm gonna get some cables for this to replace these cables. I guess you could be patient with this spray penetrant on it for a few days. Try to work that out. I'm gonna go ahead and grab mine with pliers. Tear it out or break it, one or the other. I got ABS lights on this thing anyway. Pulled on the wire, sensor's still in there. So, gotta work on that. Next, I'm gonna go ahead and take this heat shield off of there. I can't remember if the other one has a heat shield anyway. Let me go look for that part See if I need to take this heat shield out of it. I'm pretty sure that other one still has the ABS sensor in there. After that, I'll take this bolt out, and that bolt out, and the knuckle will come away from the car. Oops, here's that other knuckle assembly. The ABS sensor is gone. And if I would have pulled this hub away from the car, looks like I could have tapped that ABS sensor out of the hub, because there's a hole for it right there, because it reads the tone ring on that CV axle. This top bolt's a 21. I'm gonna go ahead and pull it. This next one's a 17 for the anti-sway bar. I'm gonna go ahead and pull it. This one on the bottom is 19 front and back, so I'm gonna go ahead and knock that off. Hold it on the front, pull it off the back with the impact. I drove that bolt out with a punch from this side. Now I'm going to pry this anti-sway bar off of here and pry this off of here, and I should be able to put the other one on. This doesn't sound near as good as it did a little bit ago, so probably is the bad one. To get this top one loose, I was prying on the anti-sway bar between here and there, trying to pry this like this. That turned that top one out, so it popped out. Now I can get this bottom one loose and then wiggle this anti-sway bar out of here. Before I got the anti-sway bar off first, wiggle the bottom off and push that out the top. Any combination will work. Now that this is off, if you have a new hub bearing, you could take it up there, have them press it out, press the new one on. Heck, that one looks newer than this one, but we'll see. I'm gonna go ahead and try to tap that sensor out of there and see how that goes for me. Tried to punch it through about 10 times. That thing is pure Michigan. Remember, that's where this car came from, Michigan. So anyway, let me go ahead and put this one on and take the car for a test drive, see if we still hear the honing, and work on getting the ABS sensor for this thing. This bolt has teeth in it as well as that hub, so be particular how you put that on. I would get the top end, this bottom lined up, that sway bar on before I drive that bolt in. The thing you want to do is thread this through the top and then jack your control arm, trailing arm up till it's the right height with that, then stick that one in, and then try to get your anti-sway bar link in the post there. Got that lower bolt tapped through, top bolt is through. Somewhere along the process I damaged the threads on that top bolt. Might have a problem there, might have to go get a thread chaser to fix that. Now I'm gonna hook this on here and put these bolts in here. I could probably start these bolts before I hook this up here, because this is pretty flexible. And I sway bar link. Got the top one tight, the bottom one tight, and this was not lined up, so I put a adjustable jaw on that and pulled it back, and that got that aligned. So now I'm gonna tap that on and then put the bolt in it. Got that tight. If I figure out the torque values, I'll list them in the description area below. Now I'm gonna lower this jack, put that CV axle hub in, and torque that down. Well, I went from 6 lights to 7 lights. I got a brake light. Now that ABS sensor's cut, I gotta get that fixed. If you feel that this information was useful, please like it and share it with your social media friends. You can subscribe to my channel so that you will get notifications of future videos that I post. You can follow me on Twitter, and if you need to contact me directly, please visit my website. And if you have any questions, leave them below, and someone or myself will reply to them. Again, thank you very much for watching.